I wanted to do a review of the Volvo S90, but what I found is there's so much to the vehicle to show that even in this T5 model, the trunk has so many features that I'm just going to do bits and pieces of the review. I have seen videos that do a review of the car and drive around and say how nice it is and everything, and of course I think it's nice too, but anyway, I'm going to show you the trunk by itself just to show you how this S90 class of vehicle is just completely innovative and luxurious. So the first thing is, back in the olden days when the earth was cooling, you had to take your key, your ignition key to your car, and sometimes you even had a separate key for the trunk, but typically the ignition key was also the trunk key. And you would stick it into your trunk, you would unlock the trunk, and that was the only way in. And if you were in the trunk, there was no way out. But that has all changed, as you will see in this video. So let's start at the front of the car. Alright, so at the front of the vehicle is the car trunk open and close button. So you press it to open the trunk. And now I'm going to press it again and you're going to hear the trunk close. Now when the trunk closes, there is a warning beep, almost like a backup sound that you hear when trucks back up. There's a warning beep that sounds. So I'll press it again and you'll hear that. And the trunk closed. Now I'm going to show the trunk opening and closing as I press the button. Alright, pay no attention to the junk I have on the table back there while I open and close the trunk with the button by the driver's side. So there you have it, the trunk open and closed with the button by the driver's side release and close button. So to close the trunk, you have two buttons. You have close, which is what we use all the time, and you have close and lock. So you just press the close button and the trunk will close. So the next way to open up the trunk is with the key fob. Okay, now we're going to use the key fob to open the trunk. And we'll use the key fob to close the trunk. And you heard that warning tone when it was getting ready to close and while it was closing. Now you can use the other features that I'm going to show you later on to close the trunk, but since I was on the key fob, I just opened and closed it with the key fob. I could have kicked it closed or I could have pressed the button. Another way to open up the trunk is with the kick feature. And close. And finally, there is a release latch right here. It's very long. You can press it anywhere within the release button area to open up the trunk. So let's do that. And close. I hit the button twice. Is that noise you heard? And finally, to open up the trunk, here's your release hatch. So the release hatch, you just kind of grab the glow-in-the-dark handle here and pull on it. It's hinged, but it really doesn't work with the trunk open, and I'm not going to get in the trunk and demonstrate it. So anyway, so you just pull on this and it releases. And again, even though I've only shown it electrically operating, you can close the trunk by just using your hand. So there you have closing the trunk using your hand. Voila. Now, we're not done. That's right, there's more to the trunk. So if you look inside in there, you can see an access panel. And that's advertised as a ski slot. So if you have skis, you can put them in the trunk by lowering that handle, and it'll give you access into the compartment, and you can stick your skis through there when you go to the slopes. Also, in case you didn't notice, there's a cargo net right here. So you can place your groceries in there if you are so inclined. So inside the vehicle, we have some rear seat fold down buttons. Now the one button moves the headrest down. This might be good if no one's in the back and you need the visibility in the rear. And the other button is to release the seat, so I'll demonstrate that. First, I'll press the button on the left. So the button on the left drops the headrest, and the button on the right drops the seats. So the button on the right just unlocks them, is not as dramatic, and we can just fold the seats down. So let me do that. So they just fall right down, easy peasy, nothing to them. Very easy for the operator to do that. No problem. The other side is both the center and the right side back seat. And you can see now that the ski through access panel is now laying flat on the back. What does that mean? It means we have a big trunk. Again, there's a big gap between the support area that the rear seats folded down in and the footwells and the center console. But still, it is an extremely large space because don't forget the back seats are a large passenger area. It's like the IL or the LI series for the BMWs, or the W220, W221 series for the Mercedes. It is just really stretched in the back for backseat room and comfort. I don't know about you, but that is a wow moment for me. Let me just drop this down so you can just see. I know it's dark, it's black, I've got it lit up a little bit. You can see the panel back there, and there is a space between the driver and passenger seat and the back panel, but that goes all the way up. And you just have a tremendous amount of storage space. Now, you can haul unbelievable volume of stuff in this car. So to remove the cover, there is a little pull tab right here. It's kind of hidden. I leave this out. I don't even know what it is. I guess I should have read the book ahead of time to see what that is, but I use that device there. And then of course I also put in a cargo net right here across the top to because we'll use that more than more than a bed net. If we need a netting to hold down things, we'll use SUV and not the car. Now, the one thing I will complain about with the trunk is the save a space spare, and the indent for it does not allow you to replace it with a full-size spare. So if you remove the panel because you need the spare tire, what you're going to find is you're going to find all the tools you need to change the tire if you find yourself with a flat. And here's all your little Volvo goodies. You know, it comes with you know, all the different little parts and pieces. This takes off the caps. And you have all your fun stuff. Oh, that's some spare parts I have. That has nothing to do with tire change. You might be able to see I have some jumper cables over there. That's also not standard. Here are your work gloves. That is standard Volvo stuff. Also a wheel cover, because you know you're going to get dirty. The tire's going to be dirty. Odds are it's raining outside and you just went through a mud puddle. So anyway, it has a bag for you to put the full-size tire in that's flat, and some gloves when you remove and install the save a space spare. And if you try and put a full-size tire in there, you're going to find that it really won't fit. I don't believe there's enough room on the outside here, because if you zoom in, what you're going to see is how narrow the spare tire is compared to the tires that are on the vehicle. It's almost like a bicycle tire and a motorcycle tire difference. There is room here on both sides, but what's going to hurt you is the height. So when you put the lid back on, it's going to be higher than normal. So that's what's going to get you if you really want to put a full-size tire into your trunk to carry around. The other thing is the tire pressure monitoring system. Obviously the spare doesn't have one. The only car I know that has 5 tire pressure monitoring sensors is the Toyota Avalon. If others do, I apologize, I just am not aware of it. So your tire pressure warning light will be on the whole time you have this tire on, and until you get it repaired and put away. So anyway, that is the trunk, and as you can see, doing a review of this vehicle really leaves out something like this. It doesn't show you some of the really human comfort and convenience factors that are shown in the videos, so I'm just going to break them up and over time show things as I learn them, as I read about them, as I see them, and thank you for watching.